Hey guys, so I'm back with a very exciting video because I'm going to read a very exciting anticipated read, and it's The Crescent City by Sarah J Maas, and it's a very intimidating book. Like, look at the size of this. It's, I think, close to 800 pages or something like that. So I honestly God, I don't know how I'm going to finish this, but like, it's so beautiful. And I absolutely love Sarah J Maas, like the way that she writes her books. I love them. I didn't honestly, I never finished Acotar series. I have 2 more books to finish, but I love the first 3, so I'm sure I will love the other 2. And as far as I'm aware, she has one other series, which is Throne of Glass, and that's like 9 books or something like that. And I saw this in my library and I was like, yes. But I just wanted to do a reading log on this, and I ordered the 2nd book in the series and I want to read them. I think I really want to read them because I haven't found any books that I've loved as much as Acotar. Like, they will have a special place in my heart forever. It's like a Twilight book. So good. But I've got my cookies, biscuits, whatever you want to call them. I've got my tea and I'm trying not to spill it. Let's go. I'm also going into this book blindly. I haven't heard much about Crescent City. All I know is that it's like modern world based with magic. The fact that they have like phones and stuff. Other than that, I have literally no clue whatsoever what it's about. Anyway, let's go. Okay, so I'm back. I went to a shower, so don't mind my wet hair. So I'm on page 76 currently, and I'm kind of mad and kind of frustrated because like I cannot believe, like, I'm not even 100 pages in, right? I got attached to a couple characters and you will not believe what happened to them. Why? I just didn't expect anything to like so drastic to happen within like the first 100, not even 100 pages. Like, what was that? So far I'm really liking it, but it seems like a little messy because like there's a whole lot of, like in Acotar there was like fae, like high fae and fae kind of thing. Obviously there were a couple like monsters here and there, but like there wasn't like too many. Whereas in this book there's, you know, vampires, demons, weird monsters, fae. Like there's a lot to keep up. There's the half-breeds, I believe they're called, so they're like half human and then half of whatever, werewolves. Like there's a whole lot of there happening. Am I the only one who hates time jumps? Because it says 22 months later. I'm like, what happened in between? Like, why are we jumping on such a big time jump? That's like nearly 2 years. Yeah, we'll see. I'm sorry. Like, explain to me. They're family, but like, is Sarah J Maas hinting at the fact that like these 2 very distant family members will have a thing for one another? No freaking way. Like, I get the fact that they're fae, but like because Sarah J Maas, whatever she writes, I will buy, I will read. Like, I absolutely love Sarah J Maas. Okay, an update. So I'm actually obsessed with the book at this stage. I'm 300 pages in and I just find the story very interesting. The characters very likable, very attached to them, you know. And so the main character, Bryce, she's basically trying to find out who's behind the murders that keep happening. She's a very likable character. And so Hunt, who is an angel, archangel, and he's basically, his job description is to protect at all costs Bryce. Oh, I love that plot. Like, they weren't like necessarily massive enemies, like they didn't like one another, but at this stage, about 300 pages in, they're being very friendly to one another, they're on good terms. So I'm just like, it's probably gonna happen soon, which probably is a spoiler. Okay, so I took off the cover and I'm close to finishing it. I have another 200 pages left to go. I just wanted to give my thoughts because I'm just so close to finishing it. Anywho, so what I was saying is, I love Sergei Maas. I loved Acotar, absolutely loved every single bit of them. The first 2 books I read, I didn't finish the series. But because this book is like 800 pages long, for a first book in the series, I felt like it's too long, and I said it, like, it's too long. And I think it's because it's like taking a whole lot of slow burn romance between these 2 characters and trying to get to know everybody. It's too slow for me. What I loved in the Acotar series, the first book was 200 more or less pages long, and it was perfect because you more or less got the gist of the world, the phase and everything, whereas in this, it's just the whole story keeps going and going and going. There is no closing the book and moving on to the next book. It feels a bit dragged on. That's what I feel like. And currently, like, I was obsessed for a little while, but then I think that's my biggest thing. For the first book, I felt like it should have been shorter, and then the second book, like, it could have been fucking 1,000 pages long and I still would have read it if I was obsessed with the first book. Now, with that being said, I still am going to read the second book and the third book that's coming out in January because I'm very curious. Maybe because in the Acotar I did get super obsessed when I started reading the second book. I prefer the second book the most. Third book was good, so I'm hoping maybe this will be the case as well, that the second book is going to be more interesting. My favorite thing is the love interest in this book. He keeps calling the main character, instead of by her actual name Bryce, he keeps calling her Quinlan, which is her second name, and something about it, like, just but yeah, that's my thoughts on the book so far. I've only like 200 pages left. We'll keep going. I'm literally crying again. That's the point of it, Bryce, of life, to live, to love, knowing that it might all vanish tomorrow. It makes everything that much more precious. Why am I crying? Right, so I just finished Crescent City. Hello. Currently it's literally 10 o'clock, hence why it's literally so dark out. But my thoughts, I love the fact that, like, it's a big book and she put in so much effort into the book, but it's 800 pages long for a first book in the series. I feel like it should not have been that long, but the last 200 pages is where all the action happened, and they were my favorite pages, on all honesty. And there were tears, like they were like joyous tears, because like I didn't feel upset. I felt like things that are happening and the courage and loyalty and all of it, and just it was like very bittersweet. And the way that it was wrapped up, it was very well. I didn't like the epilogue because it kind of like said, oh, this is where things are about to get interesting, like dot dot dot, so basically for the next book. But I definitely think I will leave the second book for another while, for like another time, just because like the second book is just as big and I feel like I need to take a breather. I feel like it's a 4-star book for me. Would have been a 3-star book if it wasn't for the last 200 pages. Like the last 200 pages like are 100% what made the book 4 stars. And the story was good. It was like very well thought out, but I just wasn't obsessed to it to the point as I was obsessed with Acotar. Like Acotar series are so good. But however, reading this book, I thought kind of like, you know what would be so amazing and great and hands down the best idea? If Sergio Maas made a series, right? Like, hear me out. If she made series and it was all the characters from Acotar, Throne of Glass, you know, Crescent City, into one series. Imagine this, all these characters meeting one another. Like, how great would that be? But yeah, and also can I say, like, holding a hardback that's 800 pages long, I genuinely, like, my hands were just so heavy. I didn't know how to hold it, which position, just nothing seemed to be comfy. But yeah, it's like weight lifted off my shoulders because I finished this massive book. I also want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.